When we talk about framing in terms of an object, we think of a frame around a picture. Well, in a conversation or in a talk or even in a meeting, framing is letting everybody know that's in the room what you're going to be talking about. And you communicate that, even the things that seem obvious to you. For instance, if you're on a sales call, of course, the customer knows that's true. But you want to let the customer know what you're going to be talking about during this conversation. The second part of speech is called advocacy. Now, I'm sure you all know what advocacy is, or you remember when you've advocated something to someone. What often happens in conversation, and what I've learned when I've deconstructed some of what I consider to be difficult conversations that haven't gone the way I wanted them to, is I did a lot of advocating. I gave my position. I wanted the other person to understand my position. I wanted the other person to agree with my position. And sometimes we advocate too much, and that pushes people away. The third part of speech is illustration. So obviously, if we're going to present something to someone, we may have examples. We may have pictures that they can relate to so they'll understand what we're talking about. And the fourth part of speech is inquiry. Now, inquiry, pretty obvious. It means asking questions. When I deconstructed a conversation that didn't work for me in a training that I attended, I looked and realized that I didn't do any inquiry, or I may have done one or two little questions. Inquiry is probably the most important part of speech besides the framing, because inquiry is what creates that connection between you and that other person. And that other person understands that you care about them, that you want to hear how they see it, that you want to hear what their concerns are. So perhaps if you walk away from here with just one thing, that thing would be, when you're having a conversation, remember those four parts, and remember to allow the inquiry to be a large part of what you're doing in an interaction. Even if in your mind you have a specific outcome and you think you need to advocate, advocating is not as necessary as people think it is. There's one more piece that I'd like to give you before I conclude.